Hi guys, Adila here. We hope you enjoyed part 1 of this episode where we covered on positive Singaporean designer traits to keep. So as promised, here is part 2 from that conversation. Thanks for tuning in. Enjoy! Okay, so now on to the traits that we want to
Kick. Basically the bad traits lah. What could be improved as a Singaporean? First trait to call out.
basically about taking things personally.
Because our work is highly collaborative. So we work with like very cross-functional roles like PMs, like developers, right? And then there may be instances as well where we cross each other's lines. Yeah, but to begin with, maybe the line wasn't even well defined. Yeah.
The lines have been blurred nowadays between the area of responsibility for PM and design.
So when this happens, sometimes I think as Singaporeans, we take things a bit personally. Like, hey, why you disrespect me? Do you think I'm not adequate enough or what? When things like that happen, we may tend to take things a bit too personally lah, instead of looking at it in a more objective manner. Yeah. For example, ultimately it's the developers who are coding and implementing the product ma.
Yeah.
So sometimes they may change or they may deviate from our designs only for us to find out later.
Yeah.
And then we may take it personally as well, like, oh, is it you think you don't respect me as a designer?
As a teammate.
Yeah, like why do you not tell me?
But in fact, maybe the dev was just forgot to tell you or haven't told you in time.
Or the dev may think like, oh, maybe this is just a small change. She's fine with it. Yeah. So what would help is having a work manual. Yeah. So there's this book called No Hard Feelings by Lise and Molly.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure you've seen their posts on Instagram. It's like cute illustrations of work. And then they actually spoke of like, it's good to have work manual, especially when you are just newly onboarded into the team. And then you can let your team members, especially those cross-functional ones, to let them know that this is how I prefer to work. You can have a point that says, oh, if there's any changes that deviates from my original design, I would fully appreciate if you can let me know. Yeah.
So this manual is like a PDF guide, some sort.
It can be, or it can be just in bullet points lor. It just gives the party a lot more context on how you prefer to work as a designer.
Okay. I get what you mean. I think this is like a working guideline because back then when I used to do freelancing, I set up this, not really a working manual, but more of like a working guideline. So I would say there will be how many revisions, and then if there are extra, there will be extra charge. And then, I can be contacted from this day to this day at what time to what time. And then, like, what's my response rate is like. And then, it's basically a working guideline lah.
Yeah. To kind of like state your principle as a designer.
It's like basically you, from the start, you already have an agreement on what we expect from each other.
Yeah, and I think actually having mutual agreements, right, really help you to not take things personally. Once something happens, right, it's a lot of unspoken interpretation.
Yeah.
Then
and you
end up
you
you
have
take
this like misassumptions.
correct, and then the worst if you don't share it. And then you kind of like
You
brew it
keep
in
it
you.
to yourself,
Yeah,
and
then
then
you mumble in one corner.
and it boils up, and then someday you will just explode.
Someday it will just explode. That's like a relationship, you know. Yeah, the next point. As Singaporeans, we are quite naturally overworked.
Oh man, calling out the obvious.
Actually, I didn't think it was obvious until back when I was a consultant. A conversation with a client happened to me.
When you told me the story, it was more of you were aware that they were given a choice to choose between working with the Singaporean designers and a set of designers from another
Country,
right? And Singaporean designers' team was a bit more expensive than
it was
the other
way
team.
more expensive. Eventually, we got selected to work with them. And then when I got closer with the client, I was just asking like, hey, why back then did you choose to work with us when we are way more expensive? Because I thought generally people will go with like cheaper cost ma. Yeah, for the same set of work provided.
I think similar skill set lah.
Similar skill set, It's like, it's quite an obvious choice to me. Then she actually told me without a doubt she just replied, oh, because your Singaporeans overwork a lot. So actually to us, it's a bang for our buck. And then when I heard it, right, my heart sank because I feel like, wow, is this how you view Singaporeans?
Designers.
Like a bunch of overworked people. Like to a point that they are willing to pay way more because they know that we are gonna work even more.
Yeah.
Yeah, then it actually got me to reflect a lot. Then I realized that, wow, shit, I really overwork a lot because I used to stay up late until 3 a.m. and see my other designer friend on Figma at 3 a.m.
And you high-five each
And
other
we
on
feel so
Figma.
happy, like we're, hey, hello. And then back then we didn't know it's actually quite unhealthy. That we didn't even call out.
I don't know. I think it will be a big ask if we just tell everyone to stop, because it's not something that we can change overnight.
It's quite embedded, huh?
Yeah, it is quite, and it's gonna take time to truly change. But somehow I feel that sometimes when we bring it up to people, right? Hey, I stayed up late, to do this work. Then the person who, maybe the leader or whoever who hears this might say, oh, but I didn't ask you. Then you feel like you just got slapped. Like, oh, okay, fine.
Yeah.
Because we somehow deep down we feel that it's an obligation, like an unspoken rule.
Yeah.
Like if we want to hit this certain form of quality work, we feel that we have to push ourselves to the very end and work till very late.
I feel like as a society, we still think that it's about the hours we put in. It's hard to attribute hours to design especially. It doesn't mean that when you put in 10 more hours, you're gonna churn out like 10 times better of a design. It's really about like how you are able to connect the dots and work your creative juices, right? So in order to do that, sometimes it's not even about staying up late at night, but it's more of like knowing how your brain is the most creative. It may be just going out to the park and take a stroll, or like showering. Whenever you shower, you always have the best thoughts, right? Yeah, the shower thoughts lah. Yeah.
I think I've heard of this phenomenon before. As our brain, we are exposed to many things, and then we read on this thing, we read on that, and then we look here and there, and then we absorb all this content, right? So your brains is actually working hard to connect the dots. Your subconscious brain actually doing all the work. So while you are downtime, when you are cooking or cleaning, and then suddenly you have this eureka moment. It's actually when your brain was trying to connect the dots for you. Yeah, it just click. And then you suddenly, I suddenly have a solution to this.
Yeah. It always comes at the most unexpected times.
Yeah, when you are calm, I think.
Yeah, when you're calm and you feel safe. Conversely, if you keep trying to work your brain and stress yourself out to like, I need to think of like creative solutions, it actually does not
It actually backfires, actually.
Yeah, it backfires. So actually this whole thing is called the default mode network. Yeah, if your brain is in that whole like very cosmic, like wow, the world is so huge, possibilities are endless kind of mode, right? It's called the DNM. Mapping back to Singapore society, right? I feel like it's still a lot about the optics. I need to be seen in front of my computer typing.
Like what would people say?
Wow, people say when they see me like
slacking off or
staring into the space
or
at
what
the
would
lounge.
people say if I only produce one design? I need to produce 10.
Yeah, it's always about the numbers, right?
Yeah.
Like, I think as a society, we are still very practical. The measurement of success is always numbers.
It's always quantity rather than the quality. Sadly. Yeah.
Sadly. It brings out another point. We are naturally overworked, but we also suffer in silence.
I feel like you're telling that to me.
Okay, sorry. How come?
I used to do that lah.
You used to do that?
Yeah.
Because I used to do that also. Yeah, so we don't announce that we are suffering. Although I think it's a very good practice for us to just tell people that
You need
I
help.
don't think
Hey,
I need help.
White flag, I need help.
Yeah, I feel like is it an Asian thing? I don't think it's just Singaporean, but I think maybe an Asian thing that we just suffer in silence.
Not just an Asian thing, but also can be maybe an age thing, or maybe if someone more senior, maybe they feel embarrassed. They will feel like, I ought to know, I ought to be able to do this, I ought to be able to perform. If I ask for help, how does it look on me? See, back to the optics again.
Yeah, how does it will me asking for help, right, actually translate to a negative point in my performance rating?
Yeah. Oh my god, a lot of things are linking to each other.
Yeah.
But of course, you're saying this with a pinch of salt. I'm sure not all designers are like this. I do hear of other designers where in their team they will actually work together, and then they will come up with just one or two solution which they think fits best to the problem. Yeah, so I think we are getting better lah.
We are getting better. Yeah.
Yeah. So our next point is basically about don't know how to say no. Yeah, it's really interconnected.
We don't know how to say no.
Don't know how to ask for help. Don't know how to say no.
Don't know how to reject lah.
Yeah. Maybe you want to explain what was your story that you told me?
Okay, so when you go to shopping malls or when you go to like places that is more crowded, right, has a lot more traffic.
Yeah.
Then there'll always be like these salespeople standing around and trying to get your attention, like hello, like being very all friendly, right? And then sometimes you will see helpless souls just getting roped into the whole selling by the salesperson. Yeah, and then they'll just stand there with their eyes seemingly to say like, help me. So my manager was saying that he finds it so funny because it's always the locals that always kena these kind of things. And then they don't know how to just say no and walk away.
Okay.
Which I think is quite true as well. Maybe it's also the paise thing. We just don't dare confrontation.
Or you feel bad to stop the person.
Yeah, we feel too much for the other person already. Like we don't dare to be very ruthless to them.
Actually, come think of it, I just remembered a story, but this has nothing to do with design, of course. But back then, when I was younger, there was this salesperson who very nicely spoke to me about this new fragrance. And then out of, I don't know, feeling bad or feeling like, oh, this person spent so much time convincing me, talking to me, this person was so nice, I ended up buying that fragrance, And he told me it's a limited edition lah, yada yada.
Yeah.
And it was $200. And I was only like in poly or secondary school. Yeah, I felt...
they know. They prey on this weakness.
Yeah, precisely. And then after walking away from that, I was thinking, oh my god, I just lost $200 just like that because I feel bad for this person.
Yeah. Actually, I also got reminded of another story. When you just started working, then you have a bit of money on your side, right?
Yeah.
And then you wanted to pamper
right?
yourself.
Yeah.
Then I just thought like, hey, maybe you can go for facial. Jing. I think facial is the scariest. Usually they will give like 90% off discount for your first time, right? Then it used to be like $100.
Then it become $39.
Then now it's like $8.
Yeah,
I was like, wow, good deal. So I went. And then I didn't know after that you are being subjected to coercion. Like you are just being brought into this room.
Yes.
And then the attendant, who's that?
Facialist.
The facialist, right? She was just, at first when she was doing the whole facial, she was so polite and gentle, right? Does this hurt? Then after that, when everything ended, then she brought me into the room, right? Then she suddenly become this like, so... the whole package is like $1,000+.
Oh my god.
Yeah, then she just wanted me to sign the package lah. Then like she will say a lot of things for me. It's like very hard for me to find.
It's basically hard selling for you lah.
Yeah, and then back then I was like a bit meek also. Eventually, I signed the package because I just don't want to say no. I don't want to confront and make people feel sad.
Some people end up agreeing to this. One is because they don't want to say no, and second because they feel pressured. They just want it to end.
So they throw money. Money is the solution for this whole thing to end. Yeah, and actually, right, you know what happened to me? Because when I signed on to like a 10-session package, I ended up not going for the last one because I don't want the facialist to come back and ask me to sign another package.
I did the same thing.
And then when I shared with my colleagues, right, they also did the same thing.
Because the thing is for me, because I go for a hair and scalp treatment package.
Right.
So this one wasn't being coerced to sign up. I really signed up because I thought it's good.
You want.
Yeah, I want. And also because it was a referral from my friend. I spent for at least like 2K. Yeah.
Okay, wait. For how many sessions?
I think it was like 14 sessions.
Okay.
Yeah, so it was really a lot. It's really expensive, but apparently it's good lah. So I went, and then every time after every even number session, maybe they will try to add on. You want to add on this one? It'll be extra charge. Add on this one. Yeah. So eventually I got tired of it, and then so I think I still have a few sessions left, but I purposely don't want to go. When my friend would say it's a waste, why I don't want to finish it up. But in my defense, I think of it as if I go, I have to think about the mental strength I have to be to be able to just say no, I don't want to sign up anymore, I don't want to continue. So I rather than having to face that, I'll just sacrifice the last session. It's fine.
So drawing back to this whole topic about Singapore treats and in our design life, because I think it's very easy for designers to get requests, whether it's true to our expertise or like all those nonsense
Ad hoc
like
requests.
wow, you designer, right? Can you design poster?
Can you design my wedding card?
Yeah, my wedding card, wedding poster, you know, all these requests, right? I think it's very hard to say no as well. Yeah. In an organization, it's extremely crucial as well to know how to say no. Like, because I think it's easy for the product team to have like very sporadic ideas like, oh, wouldn't you think it's good for us to do this? Or like, I think it will be such a good idea for us to implement this for the users. Yeah, and then like eventually they trickle down to the designer. And actually we can be a gateway to say that, hey, let's step back and think deeper about this. Maybe we can combine like different ideas to churn out a even better solution, right? Instead of like very ad hoc solutions lah. So we should know that we have the power to say no, because eventually we are representing our customers. We know best, like, is this what they want? Yeah. I have seen a lot of products that is very obvious that it's bloated with very ad hoc requests from top down.
Oh, okay. Meaning like they have all these filler features.
Yeah. And you can almost see their organization being imprinted in the app. Like you can tell that, okay, I think this is the app where the designer doesn't really have much say, and then it's really all the senior leaderships just dumping all their interesting ideas.
That's one way to reverse engineer if that's a good company to join.
Yeah. It's like an X-ray region. Yeah, it's actually one good strategy to see if this company is dysfunctional or not.
Okay, so our next point is basically about communication, which is about communicating vaguely.
Eat where?
Hey, can or not? When we were thinking about this point, it was more of because as Singaporean designers, we tend to have very high context communication. So if you have to be at the situation, you have to be aware of the context to be able to really understand what is it that we are talking about. Like for example, if compared to someone maybe from an Ang Moh country, when the way they speak, maybe it's much more
colored with details.
Yes. They have grammar.
They have grammar.
They have grammar and comma and full stop. Ours is just like,
the essence.
Can or not? You know? Yeah, ours is basically the essence.
Yeah. This high context communication actually came from a book called The Culture Map. Basically, these anthropologists like trying to lay out the different ways we communicate across countries and cultures. Yeah. So actually, Singapore is in one of them. Right, and then Singapore is like you need high context to understand what's going on lah. So we thought like this point is quite crucial also for a trait that we can try to kick.
Yeah, basically because we feel that our form of communication, especially when we are trying to work with designers from other countries or presenting to stakeholders from other countries, the way we present our designs or document our design journey and decisions will be hugely affected by how we communicate. So, for example, if we are so used to this high context communication, right, when we are trying to present to other stakeholders who may not understand our background or how we speak, it will be very hard for them to truly get the essence of what we are trying to say.
Maybe it's also the way we are being educated. Like we are not being taught to really do very good storytelling. I don't think Singaporeans are good storytellers leh.
I think we have to train ourselves to be good storytellers.
Yeah, like it's not instilled in us since young. But then because design, right, a lot of it is about storytelling your design work. Like even a simple task as showing a flow that you have designed to your development team, right?
Yeah.
That is also a form of storytelling.
Yeah.
Okay. One analogy that I have in my mind, right, is that I feel like when Singapore's talk, right, it's all as though like a black and white movie. Then when you slot in a non-Singaporean, then suddenly like, you just transform into a coloured movie. That's how I see it.
I even spoken with a designer from New Zealand.
Oh, okay.
And then she told me before that, oh, I've worked with designers from Singapore before. They're very unique. Then I said, what do you mean by unique? And then she was saying, oh, working with you guys, it feels like there's no fluff. It's just, hi, where is version A? You know? There's no like, hi, how are you today? Hi, I hope your weekend was good. Anyway, just want to check in what's the progress for design version A. Singapore is just, hi, can I get design version A by today?
Which is it a good or bad thing?
I think in a way, it's a balance. So it's good because as Singaporeans, we are just straight to the point. I think she was saying that she quite enjoy working with us because we are quite straight to the point. But at the same time, sometimes it feels like when we go straight to the point, it seems as if we don't show any form of concern or care. Yeah.
That's true.
So when noticing this, I actually back at my workplace, I used to when I were to message someone, right? And then if it's on a Monday, or maybe the last time I spoke to this person is maybe last week, then I'll just go back and say, oh, what did we speak about last week? So I try to make it more conversational, rather than just, hey, give me this thing, hurry up, you know? Yeah.
Actually, it's very true. It also reminds me of an ideation session that we ran a couple of weeks ago with my colleagues.
Oh, what happened?
How we facilitate is like we got them to write stories. So it's you kind of like storyboard that includes your brainstorm solution. And then it's very obvious that for the Singaporeans is Tricia comes to the dashboard. Tricia sees a card. Tricia clicks on it. You know, it's very straight to the point.
It sounds like a step-by-step tutorial.
It's like, although it's as though like you're just narrating a manual, you know.
Yeah.
And then like the non-Singaporeans, it's just filled with emotions. Wow, Tricia used to be a business owner that
got some background knowledge lah.
Yeah, and then like one fine day, Tricia was sipping her coffee. Tricia stumbled upon this beautiful dashboard. This thing caught her eyes. Tricia was piqued with interest. Tricia, and then like it had a lot of emotion, and
it sounds like a storybook.
Yeah, it's like a storybook that comes to life in Fig Jam.
Oh,
and then like
okay.
That was a point I thought like, wow, we are really very bad storytellers. Are we even storytelling?
Okay, one thing about the Singaporean way of doing the example, right? When I think of it, when I see it, my comment would be, I guess the Singaporean one is more of not just straight to the point, but also they don't have a lot of information on that. For example, when you just say, oh, Tricia sees a dashboard, Tricia clicks it. There's no like motivating factors around that story. What made Tricia want to click? What was Tricia's state of mind? Whether Tricia was in a rush.
What's her struggles?
Yeah, so like the non-Singaporean one had more meat.
Yeah.
Had more like data points for me to know. Okay, so Tricia was a business person before, so her tech savviness is a certain level. Okay, she is not in a hurry because she seems to be sipping her cup of coffee. So
yeah.
her state of mind is calm. Okay, yeah.
It's a lot more supporting facts lah that makes the whole story a bit more wholesome. I think sad to say.
Like, we can still change.
I guess that's all that we have for now.
Yes, so that's the points that we have for traits to kick and traits to keep.
Rounding what we have discussed so far, right? Eventually we boil down to everything is quite interconnected.
Yes.
So it's also a good thing, because that also means that let's say we have identified traits that you want to kick, right? Then it may just indirectly solve other traits that you want to kick as well lah.
Yeah. Meaning as you kick one trait, it will naturally help you to kick the other second one.
And then like another good thing is also like, let's say we want to cultivate new traits, then that will help to strengthen current traits that we have that's in advantage to us as Singaporean designers lor. So being interconnected is a good thing. Yes.
And
also the other one is like we keep talking about having a balance. It may not be entirely a good or bad thing, but like just finding that balance, knowing the tension between like what's good and what's bad of a certain trait is that's actually more insightful than identifying that trait itself.
In summary, I guess the key takeaways is basically like you said, to be balanced. Emotionally be balanced, not get too attached to your work, and then also don't overwork yourself. Secondly is basically know how to set boundaries. Because when you know how to set boundaries, you are setting boundaries for your own physical health, and also for your own mental health, because you are saying no to things, and because when you say no to something, you are saying yes to something else. So setting boundaries also, it lends to also help you in terms of making sure that you are taking care of your physical health, because if your physical health is not of the optimum state, and it will eventually affect your mental health, and it will show in your design work.
I think this is always something that we reiterate in our past episodes as well. Like who you are as a designer kind of seeps into your design work and ultimately to the end customers.
And third basically is to, I guess, have more fun and don't take life too seriously.
Find entertainment and have fun in your journey as a designer.
Chill out, guys.
Chill out. Okay, on to our good terms.
Yes.
Good things must share.
You got some good stuff. Let's share some stuff, yeah.
So what is your good terms that you want to share?
Okay, I will go first. So my good term is this thing called the zero weed joiner emoji. So it's a bit of a geeky thing as well. I'm pretty sure everyone is quite familiar with Fig Jam. So in Fig Jam, right, I really like to put emojis in it to kind of make it more emotional and have more sentiments lah. One day in Fig Jam, when I was typing an emoji, specifically a businesswoman emoji, because I use my arrow keys a lot, then I realized that how come there's a few spaces in between? And then I tried to backspace one of them. And you know what happened? The emoji actually turned into two emojis. So the emoji became a female head and a briefcase emoji.
So they can divide the emoji into two parts.
So I was like very perplexed, like what is going on? There seems to be like this code that is joining these emojis together to form a new emoji. It actually led me to ask my engineering buddy. So we actually sat down and like we took 30 minutes to just really dive into what is going on in all this, and we arrived at this thing called the zero weave joiner emoji, or they call it the zwitch emoji. So this zwitch emoji, right, is actually a hidden emoji that acts as a glue. So think of it like you combine components that give birth to new emojis. So in this case, right, this businesswoman emoji is actually a woman plus a briefcase that is combined with the zero weed joiner emoji to become a businesswoman emoji.
Interesting.
Did
they explain why they have this?
It's a way they compute emojis.
I see.
And the way for them to combine even more emojis to create new emojis.
I see.
So if you know, like there's a cloud with a lot of rain emoji, right? So that is also constitute
the cloud and the water.
Yes. And if you get this concept right, then you can start to either work backwards or forward. So you can find emojis that may constitute different emojis and try to think like, oh, is this created by this emoji? Or you can think forward and try to combine existing emojis that makes new emojis. You get what I mean?
This episode has a lot of emoji. I find it very unique because I think of it as it's like discovering a new language.
It actually is really the way I reacted, right? It's like I discovered Go like that. So I'm like, oh my god. But anyway, just for the listeners, right? If you have Fig Jam, try to go into a Fig Jam and put in businesswoman emoji. Work your arrow keys and try to hit backspace at any of the points. And you will see the magic lah.
So for my Gautam's I think it is very nicely linked to our points on storytelling. Yeah, so this guy is called Mr. Bollen. MRBALLEN. He calls himself a YouTuber storyteller. We will put in the link for you guys as well in the show notes. Originally, he was a former United States Navy SEAL, and then he decided to start a YouTube channel where he began doing verbal storytelling.
Okay.
I like the way he does the storytelling. Yeah, then when he got popular doing this, after that there were a lot of other YouTube channels starting to do storytelling as well.
I see. But what's special about his storytelling?
Basically when you listen to his storytelling, he gets into the details, he piece things together, he do all the research already, meaning he read the articles, maybe he watched the videos and all that, and then he'll piece the article, he piece everything together and make it into a storyline. Yeah, and the way he storytells, sometimes it's not like him reading off a book or just reading off an article. He really piece it together, and then maybe the twist or the cliffhanger part, he purposely put it to the end. It makes you much more like inclined to like, oh wow, that just happened. Oh wow, yeah, it's so very intriguing lah, the way he storytell. Yeah, so his introduction of his videos is always he tells strange, dark and mysterious stories.
Oh, wow, that's very interesting.
His intro is always, I tell strange, dark and mysterious stories, and if you are into this kind of thing, please stay on. Like, he doesn't incline you to stay. He's just inviting you to stay. And then some of his like loyal viewers will always leave comments, I'm here for the mysterious, dark and strange stories. Yeah.
Here for this, stayed for that.
Yeah, precisely. So I really like his way of doing storytelling. So if let's say you guys want to learn a bit more about how other people do storytelling, we learn from their way of doing it, can consider going to YouTube and search for Mr. Bollen.
Yeah, I think I will definitely check it out as well. And also like, incidentally, we also talk about how as Singaporeans, we are not very, like, storytelling isn't really our forte. So I think this one may help you to find some formulas lah, to be a bit more intriguing and captivating.
Not just
in the way you storytell.
not just on his technique of storytelling, but there are really some genuine good stories for you to listen to, like about a hospital with a disturbing secret, or 3 best friends and what happened to one girl. Like, the titles are quite clickbaity, but once you like watch it, right, once you listen to it, then you will like, I'm so glad I listened to this. Wow, what just happened? I'm so intrigued. I want to go. What's the next story to listen to? Yeah. There's this one he mentioned about this Black River in Australia, and what happened there.
Oh, actually, just you describing this, right, makes me want to listen to it already.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's it for us for this episode. We hope you guys enjoyed it.
I think the content that we covered today may be a bit controversial, may spark a bit of a debate. So as usual, we are available at our Instagram at Kiasu Design Live.
Or you can email us at kiasudesignlive@gmail.com.
Looking forward to our post-episode discussions as usual.
Okay, thanks guys.
See you.
Bye.
Bye.